Hi, it's me, Sonoria, continuing my story. I think it's going to be part 23. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm going to try to go back over these numbers and correct it, but if you just continue to follow me, eventually I'll get it together. So, anyway, I'm back in Wichita, Kansas, and now I met this guy when I was at home. I met a guy, and he happened to drive trucks. And he was also, his sister and him used to go over to my grandmother's house, and his sister used to go over there, and my grandmother would, fix him up some food boxes and whatever. And whenever she had a bunch of bread and stuff like that, she would call him over. So one day, I was over there doing work for my grandmother because, like I said, I go over there all the time to work, and she paid me. She always would pay me to come over and do chores and laundry and wash and do fold clothes, fix up the house, stack boxes, bring in boxes, do the garage, whatever it was, just anything where she was thinking that she would help me, and it was helping me out. And so this is when I met my other son's dad. So this is number 7. So me and him started kicking it, and he was in town because he drove trucks, and that's all he ever's done is drove trucks. So me and him hit it off. Now he was corny, he was funny, but he had a way of telling these fish stories, and I knew he'd be lying, but it'd be funny because he'd be trying to get it off. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I told that joker I'll do this, that, and the other. I'm like, whatever. But anyway, I just laughed because he was funny to me. So he kind of grew on me after a while, and he was funny, and he liked me. We had sex, and things were going on, and then I ended up getting pregnant by him. So anyway, then and he had some other children. He had two other children by one lady and another son by another lady. And so I didn't like how he was parenting the children. And I was like, you're on the road all the time. So I'm not expecting this man to be in my life because I'm looking from his past example. He's not doing anything with these other children. But whenever he would come to town, I would call his children and tell them, your dad is here. You need to come over and get some money. Now, dealing with him, this was the first time I had dealt with someone that had a disability as far as drugs. He used to smoke crack, and like I said, I'm not a person who downs anybody because of what they do, and I think that's why part of my story is being honest with people about this because it wasn't something I done. I used to sell dope, so I had an opportunity to see the effects that it has on people, and I had people who try to blackmail me or bring me stuff and selling their kids stuff, and it's a terrible business. I mean, and I really just didn't have the heart for it. I had to get out the business. But before I got out the business, I got busted. Like I said, I went to prison for that. And I did my 2 years. I was able to convince them that I was just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And they busted one of my spots. And I was a queen pin. I was handling big weight. And I had some big connections, and I had people who I had different houses and whatever, and I always changed my appearance when I went to these places. I was different people at different locations. I had people monitoring the police station, so I knew snitches. It was just a lot of things to be in that position, and especially as a woman. When you get into a business like that, first of all, men are very resentful because of your power. And I don't have a fear of people anyway, but more so because of what I was doing. I couldn't be weak. I had to get out there and make my money, boo. And so I had people who tested my dope for me. They was glad to because they smoked dope, so they was glad to. I had to learn how to have it cut down. I had people cut it up, separated, bag it. I had runners. I had strawberries, which are females who, ran the blocks and got some of the tricks and stuff, whatever, and they was making my money, boo. So yeah, but that's how I end up getting caught in the dope game is because I went by one of the spots. It's usually on the first. I go by, I drop off so much dope because I know people get their check on the first of the month. They come in, they want to spend their money, and I go to different locations to drop off the weight that I want to send. And a couple of people that work for me happen to smoke dope. So I was always leery about how much to give them because, they going to trick it off. They going to give you a story. I had to flush it and the police came and this and that. And so whatever. They always have a story. You can always count on a person on crack to give you a extremely great story. I am a storyteller, but these motherfuckers run the race when it comes to storytelling. So I'm used to that. I got used to it. Plus, I just chalk it up to the game. I had so much money, I couldn't even count it. It was just overflowing. And I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you what facts. That's just what it was. And it was like, I ain't never going to be going back to no regular job. This is all I need to do. But I felt bad, and I knew people, and people were coming to me, and um, the things that people are willing to do to get these drugs. And this is why I have the attitude that I have about people that I know who are on drugs. And I don't want anybody, even if you're a person who's listening to my videos and you happen to be a person who smokes dope, I want you to know, first of all, I'm so sorry. Um, for you being on drugs, even if I'm not the person who gave you the drugs or got you started on the drugs, I want you to totally understand I am so sorry because it's people like me that's out there that was making the money that had no care about what it was doing to you and how it affected you. And I personally want to say sorry. And I'm hoping that you can be able to get off of it and be able to change your life and do something else with yourself. But I understand addiction. And I just want to say that because later on down the road, I really acknowledge the fact that something I'm doing is destroying someone, even though it's their choice to do these things. But if I wasn't supplying it, they wouldn't be able to get it. Like me, I have a habit. I smoke cigarettes. Well, if they didn't sell cigarettes, I wouldn't be able to get them. I would have to find something else. So I just want to share that little tidbit of information. So getting back to the guy, number 7, Daddy. So I know he smokes dope. Me and him argue. He's out on the road. He'd be out there and he'd be going with other females who also done the drugs that he done. And he also would be having sex with these women. Unprotected sex, mind you. So when I would get back, he would come back. He'd come off the road and stuff, and me and him hook up. This boy always had some fucking luggage. Let me tell you. He come home. Now I thank God because he was always playing Russian roulette with the pussy. So I never knew what he was bringing home because who knows who he slept with. And half of the women that was on dope with him, they get together and they hang out and they smoke some dope and then they have sex and preaky deaky. And the most thing that he ever brought me was crabs. Now that is the most embarrassing, disgusting fucking thing you ever want to deal with. So, you start scratching like, dang, and start itching, and then you down there just trying to scratch, trying to get it off. And girl, please, like, and then when you see the little bugs, oh, it's just like this, like having cooties, but on the worst level. And so I'm just scratching stuff. Now I gotta go to the damn doctor. Now I gotta go in here and see these people, and they looking at me like I'm nasty. You understand what I'm saying? I was so mad at him. I wanted to cut his shit off for real. I was like, okay, bitch, you done lost your mind. You want to keep the dick now. Anyway, now I gotta get a doctor. They gonna give me some soap, and they have these little combs, and they was like, well, you can cut your hair off. I'm trying to keep my little hair. I'm getting older. It ain't gonna keep growing back. So anyway, so they gave me some stuff to shampoo and do all this other stuff. But I would be so mad at him because it's like you just laying down with dogs and you coming up with fleas. But in this case, you crabs. So crack and crabs go together. So yeah, like, can't you find some clean girls to fuck? Like, why you always going to getting these lot lizards, females hanging out at the truck stops, just doing with anybody and everybody, and y'all just all having a party? So I stayed with this man a good 15 years, and during that time, my family and friends were wondering, like, why are you still being with him? And he's a crackhead, and he's this and that. He was very funny, and I liked him, and we got along. Only problem I had with him was the fact that he was smoking dope. Anyway, my time is up again. I have really got to finish this story because it is very important for me to talk about these type of topics because there are things that are really going on in the world and people are having these experiences. So I will be back with my story, part 24, I think it is. Okay, bye bye.